When I got into high school, there were like certain films that I started watching that I was like, oh, this is something I kind of want to have a career in the future. I'm Lainey Auwarter, and I'm a senior, class of 2019. Ever since I was little, I've always had kind of an interest in horror movies. And so like I would kind of grow up like watching them kind of secretly without my parents really knowing, and like stuff like that. Stuff I wasn't really supposed to watch. And that kind of got me interested in film in general. I find horror pretty exciting because it's just, I love kind of a shock value with meaning. I like movies that have something to say in like a really strange way, something that's not like a drama. Then I started to hear about the film lab from Dr. Proctor, and that seemed like something really fun because there's nothing really like that around here in Roanoke. Film lab is really helpful for all sorts of resources. Like even the kids there, like they know people who are actors that they can get to be in your movie, which is difficult on its own because sometimes you have friends that are like, I don't really want to act in your movie. And they're also, the greatest thing is that they have like cameras and they have sound mixers and sound systems. And the first like formal project I did for Film Lab was I wrote this horror movie called Thanatophobia, and that got chosen out of like, there were like 16 kids in my class and they picked the top 4, and that got picked along with 3 other scripts. And so that was an interesting experience, having to make that and being the director of that. Yeah, the film festivals that I've gotten accepted to, I've won a few for my screenplays that I wrote. Like I just got top 4 in an Oregon Independent Film Festival, and I also got one of the top scripts in Newark, New Jersey Film Festival. But I actually got to go to the Johns Hopkins Film Festival, and they're really supportive about their filmmakers there. And it was interesting to see kids from kind of all around this area and the kind of movies they're making. And like, I was a little embarrassed to show mine because I felt like I wasn't on the same tier that they were, but I don't know, I thought that was a really fun experience to get to meet other filmmakers. Like there were some kids from Canada too, like just all over, it was crazy. I think women in horror has kind of always been like an interesting subject because it's so rare, and in just film in general, there's not a whole lot of like female representation. So that's something that I'm hoping to kind of change. Yeah, I think especially from the teachers, I found support at North Cross. Like I've had teachers come to the premieres at Grandin, and I've had teachers every now and then ask me like how it's going, and like Dr. Proctor always comes up and asks what we're doing or how it's going, and especially Miss Jackson is always really helpful and kind of showing me new projects to get into, and like she'll let me do the prosthetic makeup that I want to do. And she was like, oh yeah, that's fine, just do whatever you want, and I appreciate that a lot. I love script writing because I just have a lot of weird ideas all the time that sometimes don't get accepted anywhere, but usually my teachers are really accepting of everything I write, and they'll give me like good feedback, so I really like script writing, and I like seeing what other people's ideas are. And I also really like editing too, because you get to see like the final project come together and you're actually like putting all the puzzle pieces together. So I think that's a really fun process, is editing.
Any favorites?
I have a lot of favorite filmmakers, but probably my most favorite would be Lars von Trier. I love how he writes his stories, and he writes them and directs them and does the cinematography usually. So that's something I really look up to. And a lot of his movies have become some of my favorite movies of all time. And they're shocking, but again, they have like a meaning with that, and they're controversial, but it has like a much deeper meaning than you find in a lot of like movies that you go see in the theaters. And I also like, I guess, directors like Michael Haneke who do the same sort of thing. I'm really excited about next year because I got accepted into UNCSA, which is a college in Winston-Salem, and it was pretty hard to get into. Like the portfolio took me months to do, and it was a difficult process, and the interview was pretty scary, so I'm really excited. Yeah.